Hello, and welcome
to Sort of the Story.
I'm Janey.
And I'm Max.
And this is the podcast where we tell each other stories like fairy tales and folk tales and mythology.
And also, you are
You are here. Welcome.
Hey, gang.
God, that was so fucking professional.
Wow.
And dare I say it, calm.
And this might be crazy, but sexy?
Should we send it to NPR just to see what they think?
Yeah. Show them what a real breath of fresh air sounds like.
Again, I know no other NPR podcast.
I also don't know any other.
I'm sure they have like a cooking one, right? That seems like something they would have.
No. I could probably come up with one other name if I tried really hard, but I mostly know Fresh Air.
This is Cooking with Oil with me, Wee Sandusky.
It seems more like a New York Times cooking test kitchen
Okay,
thing.
sorry. This is Pickled Peppers with me, Walter
Peter Piper. I'm Peter Piper, and this is Pickled Peppers.
On today's story, where are they?
I would like to have them.
I picked a whole peck yesterday.
And yet,
A peck of pickled pepper I, Peter Piper, picked. I invited a guest to tell me why she smells like my pickled peppers. I don't know what this weird bit is. Anyway. Hi guys. This podcast isn't for children, and it also may not be for you.
did you like the extended joke about an NPR podcast where Peter Piper talks about his pickled peppers?
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
It's a true crime mystery where we go deep inside the seedy underbelly of pickled peppers.
And with patience, perchance peruse the pickled peppers.
Just a reminder, don't rub your eyes.
Hey.
Or you just might miss it.
Woo! Yeehaw!
Yeehaw, indeed. Anyway, this is us. We're launching our new podcast. This is how we hard launch it. Get ready.
I'm launching a spin-off podcast called Hard Lunching.
It's where all your lunches are pills.
I eat rocks on mic. All my lunches are hard. It's really difficult to eat lunch. And also I'm always erect.
Max has very few teeth left. It's getting dire. Somebody send her a subscription to HelloFresh. So, guys, if you're like, God, I missed them. 1 week in between episodes is too long to be without these fucking idiots. Listen, you can get a bonus episode from us for just $7 a month, and Max is going to tell you how to give us the money. Is that smooth? Did you like that? No.
No, that was pretty bad.
I'll have my shtick worked out by the end of the episode when I announce the podcast again.
Sure. I'm beginning to understand why I'm the one who has to introduce the Patreon.
I mean, I do it at the end every time.
Sure. After everyone's already warmed up and they all know the information that they need to know.
That's true.
I ease them in, you know? If you'd like to join us on Patreon, for $7 a month, you can get a full-length bonus episode. This is like a regular episode, but it's bonuser.
Yeah, it's more
and it costs $7. You can find that on our Patreon link in the show notes for this episode and every episode. Or if that's a little too much for you, $3 a month will get you hanging out with us in our Discord.
Yeah.
Which is where we hang out with all of our listeners. It's a really fun, good, cool group of people, and we would love to see you there. So check out our Patreon link. Again, $3 a month gets you to the Discord, $7 a month gets you a full-length bonus episode. And you can also send us an email at sortofthestory@gmail.com if you have any questions about the Patreon or anything else that we talk about here on the podcast.
Hey, big news.
Oh.
We made it to 100 reviews on Apple Podcasts. Guys.
Whoa.
You need to be more hyped about this, okay? This is exciting for us.
It is exciting. I just don't know how to follow up you falling down a chasm while you're saying
It's okay, I'll be cushioned by the 100 podcast reviews. I do like, we have a bunch of fun, like goofy, silly little reviews, and the one that got us to 100 is like, I love this podcast.
Aw.
Thank you.
You know what? Thank you so much.
And just to shout out the person who did it, it was Kristen Caldall, my favorite podcast ever. 10 out of 10.
Thanks, Kristen.
Kristen, you are best friend of the week. And as a prize, we're giving you $100.
We're not doing that.
And we'll send it to your address. We know where you live.
We're not doing that. To be clear, for legal purposes, we're not doing any of that.
Do you like popcorn? Corn? We do too. Have it ready when we get there. With our giant check.
For $100. It would be my sense of humor to give someone like $3.62, but do it with a giant, one of the Publishers Clearinghouse giant checks.
That
would
costs
be really funny.
you like $50 to print.
100%. I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah, well, Kristen, get ready because it's happening to you. All right. I think that's all the news.
Yay, that's the news.
One more piece of news. I went to the beach and I got so sunburned that I think I have sun poisoning. My whole body hurts so bad. I am crispy on my whole body. It's real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
My legs they look like a lobster.
Yeah, I've never seen you this burned before.
I've never been... Well, you didn't see me in New York when I forgot that I'd put a bunch of Vicks Vapor Rub all over my chest and then I fell asleep on a roof. And I woke up and I could practically hear the sizzling of the oil on my skin.
Ugh, awful.
Yeah, I was pretty burnt then.
It's pretty bad. This is a little bit entertaining because I am very, very pale, and literally every time I leave the house I get a sunburn. So it's nice that the tables are turned for once.
Does it turn into a tan?
No, never.
Oh, no.
No, God, no.
I'm so sorry.
It's a sunburn, and then it all peels off of me, and it's horrifying, and then a year later I get freckles. And eventually one of them's going to kill me, so...
Well, you should get your money back. That's bad.
I'm going to go steal the sun's lunch money.
It owes you something. Don't get too close, though. You're going to do it with a long stick. When I was little, I never sunburned. And I got really cocky about that. I was like, I've never been burned in my life, so I don't know what that looks like. It might just be because we spend a lot of time outdoors. Mm-hmm. Also, I'm part Native American and part Filipino. I shouldn't burn like this. And now that I'm getting older, I burn so easily, and I don't know when that happened, so I don't know when not to wear sunscreen. And I can hear you guys. I can hear everyone, and I can see Max's face saying, always, Janey, every day.
Just wear sunscreen.
I hate it. I don't like it.
No, you have to.
Well, you're not allowed to tell me what to do. This close to Native American History Month? I don't think so. All right. Well, with that classic Janey dig, I am going to tell you a story.
Okay. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's a good one. So
good.
Fucking get ready.
Prove it.
This is actually a Max story. There's a couple elements of this that is Max coded. Oh. And you'll be excited. I'm going to tell you them right off the bat. Okay.
Exciting.
I'm going to pause this for like 1 second, and then I'm going to come back and tell you a story. That's the sound. Mm-hmm. Okay, Max.
Okay, Janey.
Max, okay.
Janey, you're telling me a story today, and it's called Vasilissa the Fair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's from Russia.
Yeah, and what book?
It's from the second Virago book of fairy tales, edited by Angela Carter.
That's true. And what's the first sentence? No, I'm kidding. Guys, I use Adobe Audition to record and edit these episodes, and right now Adobe Audition fucking hates me. And I pressed record on this session to start my story, and we recorded like a good 5 minutes of the story. There was jokes, it was fun, there was repartee, it was a fun little back and forth. We were really on fire, and then I realized it had jumped back to the beginning of the episode and recorded over the entire test, so I had to undo all that. But now, we're recording for real.
For real this time.
And Max was completely right, because she's heard it before.
No, it's because I can see the future.
She read my notes.
And I read your notes.
This is Vasilissa the Fair from the second Virago Book of Fairy Tales, edited by Angela Carter. And the first line is, quote, "A merchant and his wife living in a certain country had an only daughter, the beautiful Vasilissa." End quote. No.
Yeah.
And we talked about how they don't say which certain country this is, but the story is from Russia, so we can go ahead and assume it's from Russia. Mm-hmm. When she was only 8 years old, Vasilissa's mom got really sick, and it became clear that she was going to die. So the woman called her daughter to her side, and she gave her a little doll. And she told her, quote, "Listen, dear daughter, remember my last words. I am dying, and bequeath to you now, together with a parent's blessing, this doll." Max, don't laugh when somebody says they're dying. "Keep it always beside you, and show it to nobody. If at any time you are in trouble, give the doll some food and ask its advice." End quote.
I think it'd be really funny to be like, I need you to always, please just remember what I'm about to tell you. I'm dying. And then you just die.
Don't forget that, okay?
Don't forget.
Please don't forget that I'm, in fact, Deadsville. I'm like 2 seconds from death's door. And then the next line is, "Then the mother kissed her daughter, sighed deeply, and died." And I just wrote, damn.
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 Things happen in this story. I have a pewter plate that I got at basically Goodwill, and it's engraved. It's like really beautifully worked and everything like that. And it's engraved and it says, "I asked Jesus, how much do you love me? And he said, this much." And he stretched his arms wide and died. Which, like, the idea is like, oh yeah, he spread his arms out on the cross and then he
died for everyone's sins.
Yeah, that's how much he loves us. That's how he's showing us how much.
Yeah.
But I really love the idea of someone being like, how much do you love me? And being like, this much. And then you just fucking die.
And they're like, oh, they're giving me a hug. No, they're having a heart attack.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. It is very jarring to end a sentence with, "and died." The merchant and his daughter were devastated by this death, and for a while they just lived on their own and they grieved, and it was kind of quiet and sad. And the merchant at first didn't think that he would ever be ready to marry again. But with time, he found out that not being married fucking sucks. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm sorry, I have to watch my own kid and clean my own house and cook my own food, and nobody's around for me to yell at and be annoying to and smell my smells.
Does this happen in the story, or are we just...
That's a quote. I don't know.
Okay.
The Russians think this, not me.
Oh, of course.
Nobody's there to find my weird hairs in weird places. Men hair is different from other hair, okay? Again, this is from the story.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
This isn't me, Janey, talking. So with time, he found he was ready to take another wife.
Sure.
He needed somebody to smell those smells.
Mm.
And since he was canonically super hot, the story makes it be like a big deal to be like, hey, he's got it going on. He's handsome, in fact.
Listen, he's fine.
He's keeping it toy. And because he's keeping it toy, he has no trouble finding someone to marry him as soon as he wants to.
Sure.
Quote, "Moreover, he was especially pleased with a certain little widow, no longer young, who possessed 2 daughters of about the same age as Vasilissa." End quote. And I would just like to take a moment to dissect every part of that sentence to figure out what the fuck that meant. How little is this widow?
I don't know why, but little to me, I guess I felt like that was going to lead into a pet name. It was like, oh, like he was especially enchanted with this little mama that he met at the bar.
Are you that Lil, like L-I-L?
Yeah, and I really love the idea of him, his pet name for her is Lil Widow. How's it going, Lil Widow?
Oh, Lil Widow in the house. And she's like, I would prefer it if my cute nickname didn't
remind me of the fact that my first husband is dead.
That's not great for me, actually. Anyway, so he got remarried to this tiny, small,
Lil Widow,
itsy bitsy widow.
That's a really good Discord name. Lil Widow.
Lil Widow.
Or Itsy Bitsy Widow.
Now, here's another. So we know that she's little. Mm-hmm. We know that she's no longer young.
Mm-hmm.
And we also, which means she's probably like 26. Mm-hmm. And we know that she has 2 daughters, same age as Vasilissa, who's about 8 years old.
And we know that she's a widow.
Yeah. Did I not say that?
No.
Okay. And
we know a couple of things.
And she had a husband. He's no longer with us.
Rest in peace.
Here's something else we know. She was, quote, famous as both a good housekeeper and a good mother to her daughters.
Wow.
Famous Lil Widow. How famous? You got an album out about being a good housekeeper and mothering. Oh, she's probably got a mommy blog.
Ugh. Sorry.
We hate Lil Widow. But of course, this is a fairy tale about a young girl who lost her birth mother tragically young. So the new stepmother fucking hated Vasilissa.
Sure.
I'm trying so hard not to call her Vaseline.
Every single time I hear you say it, I hear the Vaseline.
Damn it, Vaselina. The girl was beautiful and kind, and the stepmom immediately became jealous that Vasilissa was stealing focus from her own daughters, who were just regular 8-year-olds, nothing special. So, of course, the 3 new members of the household began to abuse her. They found fault in everything she did and made her do impossible tasks every day. And she was outside in the hot sun working, and the story wants us to know that her beautiful fair skin was now, quote, dark from exposure to the wind and sun, which I find personally reprehensible. Francis keeps jumping up on my legs and just clawing his fucking way down my poor crispy legs.
It's really... I'm so sorry that you're in pain, but it is weirdly gratifying to be here to experience you getting a sunburn for one of the first times.
It's a really
you could
bad
still
one,
count
too.
the numbers of times that you've gotten. I can't. I'm not kidding. I've gotten a sunburn sitting in my car on the way to the grocery store, which is a 10-minute drive.
Oh, no. I walked one time.
I constantly have a sunburn.
When I was in Vietnam, I decided to walk around, like, the guy I was with, he was from Wales, and we were walking around in the morning, and we were having a great time, and I was wearing, like, a tank top and shorts, and he was, like, wearing a tank top and shorts. Not mine, but different
A different one.
And he got so sunburnt that, like, he got full sun poisoning and just had crazy diarrhea and was throwing up a bunch, and he had blistered all over. But I was like, we weren't even out for like an hour, dude, and we weren't even walking really out. We were walking through shops and stuff. So I had to like deposit him back at the hotel for him to be sick in there. And then I decided to go on like a 3-mile hike up a mountain to go see like this giant Buddha statue. And I did the 3-mile hike again. I wasn't wearing sunscreen. I was just like made the whole trip up there, and then I walked all the way back, and then I got a taxi to take me back. And I was just so beautifully tan, and I walked in like, I feel and look amazing. And I just walked into a horror show in the hotel room. I was like, And he was also mad at me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
As someone who is just 8 different flavors of white people, I can relate.
But you know what? Now, apparently, the whiteness, it is catching up with me. I am, like Vasilissa, dark from exposure to the wind and sun. But I want to say as well, everybody thinks this is terrible in Russia. This is all my siblings and I wanted. We used to just, like, lay outside and, like, fry.
Yeah.
Anyway, one day I'll be tan, though. It'll all be worth it. Despite the abuse, Vasilissa grew more and more beautiful every day, and her lazy stepmother and her terrible stepsisters grew uglier and more spiteful.
Mm.
And why was Vasilissa flourishing?
Because she was working hard.
Because of Baby Eats a Lot.
Baby what now?
I call her Baby.
Baby does what?
Baby Eats a Lot.
What's a baby eats a lot?
You forgot about the baby doll her mother gave her that she has to feed in order to get advice.
The doll! It's like...
The look of horror. Like, what new character is this?
I thought that the stepmother had given birth to a baby who was going to eat everything.
She gives birth to a baby who she just names Eats a Lot.
That's what I thought had happened. I thought this was going to turn into a buddy cop. They were Vasilissa and Eats a Lot. We're going to defeat the stepmother, and then Baby Eats a Lot was probably going to eat her.
No, Baby Eats a Lot would never. Baby Eats a Lot is loyal.
To whom?
To whomever is holding the food. No, Baby Eats a Lot is the baby doll that her mother gave her.
Mm-hmm.
Every night at dinner, Vasilissa would save a small morsel of food for the doll, and when everyone else had gone to sleep, she would hide in a closet, and she'd tell it all her troubles and woes. And she would say, quote, "Now, dear, eat and listen to my grief." Said, "Girl, you'll never believe what this bitch has me doing tomorrow."
This is what we do every day when we get home from work, though, is that you and
we go into a closet, I give Max a tiny snack. And
I get one Cheez-It.
She's chewing on her Cheez-It.
If you suck on it, it lasts longer.
That's a tip.
That's a little cheesy tip for you.
That's a cheesy tip.
No, but like we come home from work and then both of us are just making our little food and just alternating bitching about our day.
And it is little food.
Your food is mostly chips.
It is mostly chips. My diet book is coming out very soon. It's 1 page. chips.
There's an appendix and it's like, or olives.
Oh, I haven't had olives in so long. Okay, so the doll would nibble on the food and listen to Vasilissa complain. The doll is Max. And then it would tell her, like, girl, don't even worry about it. You're, like, so smart and pretty and you're cool and everyone's, like, totally jealous of you.
This is also what I do.
This is Max. And the next day, the doll would do all of her chores for her. So that Vasilissa could sit in the shade and pluck flowers and take a nap. Which I want to know, like, why the fuck is she so tan? Riddle me that. She's in the shade. Doesn't do nothing.
The doll, meanwhile, golden brown.
Oh, the doll has, like, the tan of a Greek god. Several years passed, and Vasilissa grew up to be a beautiful woman. As expected, men started to come by almost daily to ask for her hand in marriage. And every time the stepmother would stomp and throw tantrums and tell the men that no one would take Vasilissa before her two sisters had suitors. What the hell? And then she would send them away, and then she'd beat Vasilissa mercilessly for having the audacity to be hot and available.
How dare she?
How fucking dare she? One day, the merchant had to go away on business for a while. And it says, to another country. Undetermined.
Not Russia.
Maybe China. Who knows?
Maybe Russia.
You said before that maybe the reason why they couldn't name it is because they didn't know which country they were in because it's just this constantly changing hands over there.
Yeah.
It's like when they talk about the Carpathian Mountains and they're like, who knows?
Listen.
Honestly, there's a lady who told all these stories and she lived in like 7 countries without ever changing her address.
Yeah. I just learned about the Ural Mountains.
Ooh.
From doing a lot of New York Times crossword puzzles recently. Apparently, they're like the line that separates Europe from Asia, basically, is the Ural Mountains.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
You know.
The more you know.
Yeah. And they use it a lot in the New York Times crossword. So now
if that helps you win a crossword, win.
Win.
If that helps you win a crossword competition, you owe Max $100.
Mm-hmm. You are ALS.
You are ALS. Screw you, Max.
Also, Yoko Ono comes up a lot. ONO.
She really does. They really like Yoko Ono.
They really do. They really, really do. I've been getting a lot of Omar Epps recently, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think... People act like he's super famous. He was in House, but he wasn't House. He was also in Scream 2.
He was home.
No, he wasn't. I thought he was kind of unpleasant on House. But that being said, I didn't really watch House that much.
I love House.
And I watched it when I was younger. And so I was mostly concerned with the hot Australian guy with the wavy hair.
The hot Australian guy.
Oh,
the blonde one?
Yeah, as if there's another hot Australian guy on the show.
I don't remember him being Australian.
I think his name is Chase. He has the energy of a dog named Chase. Okay. Omar Epps. People talk about Omar Epps as if he's an Academy Award winner. It bugs me every time. I'm like, I don't think he is. Isn't he only famous from House? Omar Epps heads, tell me if I'm wrong. I assume you guys call yourselves Omar Epps heads. The Epps representatives. That's harder to say than I thought.
Epilogues.
The epileps.
Epinephrines.
Yeah.
Episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Epstein's.
No.
No, not that one. Don't think about that one. Okay. So one day, the merchant had to go away on business for a while. And as soon as he left, the stepmother took the girls to live in a house near the forest while he was gone. I don't know why.
Is it her house?
Who knows?
Does she have a secret family?
It's an empty house, so she's doing a really bad job of taking care of that secret family, unless her family is the house. Quote, in the forest was a glade, in which stood a cottage, and in the cottage lived Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga. I knew it was coming. I knew. As soon as this was a Vasilissa story, I was like, ah.
Vasilissa pairs up with Baba Yaga so much, you would think they are buddy cops. Just like kind of a boring pretty girl and like an old witch in the woods who could eat her, but doesn't.
Could be us, but you're playing.
Could be us, but you playing.
You know.
Little widow. In the cottage lived Baba Yaga, who admitted nobody to her cottage and devoured people as if they were chickens. End quote.
And devoured chickens as though they were chips.
Page 2. Chicken. Once they were living in this house, the stepmother found every excuse she could possibly find to send Vasilissa into the forest, hoping she would accidentally stumble upon Baba Yaga and get gobbled up like a people pot pie.
That's really good.
Is it funnier? Is it less funny when I laugh at my own joke immediately?
No, I've been thinking about this. I've been listening to the podcast recently, and I'm like, I need to stop laughing and tell the joke more often.
Can't do it.
Because anytime I feel myself coming up on a joke, I start giggling, and I'm like, you're ruining it.
It's coming. People pot pie. If we don't love each other, then no one will. Nobody loves us. I am all you have, never leave. But the girl always annoyingly came back home at the end of the day, safe and sound and not gobbled up. This was, of course, because of Baby Eats-A-Lot,
Sure.
who told her what to do and how to do it. Spring arrived, and the stepmother decided to give each of the girls a task for the evening. One daughter made lace, the second daughter knit stockings, and Vasilissa was told to spin. Now, this is spin...
Yarn. Not spin a circle.
She might. It doesn't actually go further into this. Then the mother extinguished all of the candles except for the one in the room with the girls, and she went to bed. Eventually, the one candle in the room with them needed some attention, so one of the stepsisters stood and took a snuffer, and then she pretended to be cutting the wick, but instead she just put out the light entirely. And then the girls looked around and dramatically began to ask, "Oh no! What are we gonna do? It's so dark in here. We couldn't possibly see our work. One of us is going to have to go to Baba Yaga's house and ask her for a light." And Vasilissa's like, "Or we could use these matches." And they're like, "Oh no, the matches, they fell outside in a puddle."
Oh no, they're all wet because I'm eating them. Oh no.
Oh no. My second sister and her matches problem. What? She's like, "Okay, we can go to the neighbor's house." "Oh no, you can't. And don't ask questions." And so at the same time that they're doing this, and Vasilissa's staring at them like, "Okay, you guys okay? You're eating a lot of matches." And screaming. As they were doing this, the stepsisters at the same time put their fingers on their noses and yelled, "Not it!" And then they, like, gave her a wedgie.
And stole her lunch money.
Yeah. And then they cackled at their own cleverness, and they threw Vasilissa out of the house, and they were like, "Go to Baba Yaga's cottage to get a light, bitch." And Vasilissa, "Bye, bitch." "Bye, bitch."
Janey, ever doing this really funny bit that is not getting old, ever.
It's Cardi B.
Perfect and hilarious.
It's that Cardi B soundbite.
But we've been watching Castlevania, and anytime anyone gets, like, thrown, we're like, "Bye, bitch."
Max will just go, "Bye, bitch." And then from the other guy, I'll go, It's very fun.
And it's very funny, and everyone loves it.
Everyone in this house loves it. The animals have given us several standing ovations. So they're like, "Go to Baba Yaga's house." Vasilissa took her doll with her, gave it a little bit of her supper, and asked her what she could do. Because if she went to Baba Yaga's house without a plan, the witch would gobble her drumsticks.
Gobble
Her drumsticks.
Oh.
Breast and thighs.
I heard jumpsticks. Also, she's been on a pogo stick this whole time.
She would slurp up her jump ropes. Classic Baba Yaga.
Classic.
So the doll assured her that everything would be okay, as long as she took it with her and listened to her advice. So Vasilissa crossed herself and started walking into the dark forest. And as she was walking, quote, "Suddenly a horseman galloped past. He was white and dressed in white. His steed was white, and he had a white saddle and bridle. The morning light was appearing," end quote. At this point, I started yelling, "A white man!" No! No! She went further, and another horseman passed her. This one was all red, with a red horse, and the sun rose as he passed. She walked all night and all day, and on the following evening she finally came to the glade where Baba Yaga's cottage stood. The fence around the cottage was made of human bones, with human skulls, with eyes spiked along it. The skulls had eyes, and the skulls were spiked along the fence. Didn't know how to write that better.
Yep.
The doorposts of the gate were fixed with human legs. And instead of bolts, there were...
I don't know.
Human...
teeth.
Hands.
I don't know. Why would you ask me that? I would have no reason to know that.
I'm pointing at her. And
Stop quizzing me.
And instead of a light, there was a human. No, not a light. And instead of a lock, there was a human butthole mouth with sharp teeth.
Again, I don't know the answers to this quiz. You can't quiz me on something we haven't learned.
When dealing with a fairy tale book, the word butthole almost never comes up.
Almost never.
You know what? The chances are never zero. Vasilissa stood in front of the gate, horrified and trembling and unable to move or look away from that butthole. Why is that there? She said. Suddenly, another horseman rode up. This one was all black, on a black horse. He jumped through Baba Yaga's gates and vanished, and night fell. I love that image. But the darkness did not last long, because suddenly all of the skulls on the fence lit up like solar lawn ornaments.
Ooh, it's Halloween.
Yeah. Suddenly, Vasilissa heard the terrible sounds of trees cracking and leaves rustling, and Baba Yaga appeared, riding a mortar which she drove with a pestle, and then she swept away traces of her progress with a broom. Multitasking.
Yeah.
Like a girl boss.
Girl bossing.
She came to the gates, and she stopped in front of the trembling Vasilissa, and she cried out, quote, "Foo, foo! I smell a Russian! Who is here?"
Huh.
That's how I'm going to start greeting Pepper.
Foo!
Foo, foo! Vasilissa stepped forward timidly. She bowed low. I really thought I had said Timothy for some reason.
I also thought you had said Timothy.
It really felt like I'd said Timothy, but I definitely didn't.
No, you said it right, but I had the same, I was like Chalamet?
Timothy Chalamet. Vasilissa stepped forward timidly, bowed low, and told her that she had been sent by her stepsisters to ask for a light. And Baba Yaga said, quote, "Very well, I know them. If you first of all live with me and do some work, then I will give you a light. If you refuse, I will eat you."
I wasn't going to say anything because it's a fairy tale and fairy tales have their own logic, but they're like, they moved closer to the forest and the stepmom keeps sending her out into the forest, hoping that Baba Yaga is going to get her.
Yeah.
But it's been like 3 days.
So Baba Yaga travels around the forest, though. We're going to find that she doesn't actually she only spends nights in her cottage, and she travels around the forest in her mortar with her pestle.
But also...
And you never know where she's going to be, and you can't track her. So, like, Baba Yaga could find her.
But, like... So it takes her a couple of days to find Baba Yaga's hut, or whatever, or to get there, or whatever it is. They were, like, working all night. It's been daytime several times since then, and also...
Yeah.
This is a silly... You could just get...
I know.
Fire from somewhere else. This is the least convenient... I understand that the idea is that they're, like,
want
trying
her to die.
Yeah. I get
but
that,
why
but
is
it's like...
she listening to this?
Yeah, and also, Baba Yaga's like, oh, come and live with me for a little while, and then eventually I'll give you... And it's like, no.
Vasilissa doesn't know how to say no. We do figure this out.
The ROI for the amount of time, like your return on investment for the time and energy that you've put into this, just fucking go to the store and get more matches.
I think that this is going into the trope of the heroes of the stories. If it's a girl, she's going to be timid and she's never going to say the word no, and she's going to do whatever she's told, even if it's genuinely stupid and she will die. Yeah, she's never going to argue because she's so obedient. That's what I get from stories like this.
I agree. I just think it's stupid.
It, in fact, is. Our real hero is Baba Yaga.
As always.
As always.
Except when she eats kids.
Sometimes I teach kids. Sometimes sending them to Baba Yaga is not the worst option. So... After she was like, here's the deal, she unlocked the gates with a word and she entered, whistling. And Vasilissa followed her, and as soon as she was through the gates, they clanged shut behind her. Trapped. They entered Baba Yaga's house, and the witch stretched herself and told the girl to hand her everything in the oven, for she was hungry. So Vasilissa took a torch, she went outside, she lit it from the burning eyes in the skulls on the fence, and then she began to hand everything she could find in the oven to the witch. The meal was big enough to feed 10 men, and Baba Yaga feasted on it hungrily. Moreover, Vasilissa went into the cellar, and she brought up kvass, honey, beer, and wine. And the witch left a few of the end crusts of bread and tiny bits of pork for Vasilissa to finish, but she ate everything else. Not interested in feeding Vasilissa. Then she lay down to sleep, and she told her, quote, "When I go away tomorrow, take care that you clean the yard, sweep out the cottage, cook the dinner, and get ready the linen. Then go to the corn bin." Sorry, my autocorrect changed it to Corbin, like Corbin Blue.
Okay.
No. Then go to the corn bin, take a quarter of the wheat, and cleanse it from impurities. I know. I was also upset by this. Listen, Mac,
Hang on just a fucking second.
the corn bin doesn't have any corn in it.
Okay. Corn bin, already a red flag. What? You have a bin that's just for corn? That's
not,
fucking
it's for
weird.
wheat.
And it's not even for corn? Just say the bin. The bin. It's just a bin.
Corn bin.
No, it's not a corn bin. It's if anything, it's a fucking wheat bin.
You know what? Baba Yaga would have eaten you already.
Good. I don't want to be here anymore.
She would be crunching on your little toes while you complain about the corn bin.
Fine. Great.
Then go to the corn bin, take a quarter of the wheat, and cleanse it from impurities. See that all is done. Otherwise, I shall eat you. End quote.
Mm-hmm.
Then she threw herself back and immediately began to snore. And at this point, Vasilissa took the little scraps of food from the witch's meal, she fed it to her cursed baby doll, and she asked her how she was supposed to finish all of those chores in just one day. And the doll answered, quote, "Have no fear, beautiful Vasilissa. Eat your supper, say your prayers, and lie down to sleep. Morning is wiser than evening." End quote. I really like the quote, "Morning is wiser than evening."
Yeah.
I make really bad, stupid decisions at night. Not like reckless, and I'm not going outside of my house, but like I do stupid shit that keeps me up all night.
Yeah, same.
The next morning, Vasilissa woke up early, but Baba Yaga was already awake, staring out the window. The lights from the eyes of the skulls. Sounds like an 80s metal song. The lights from the eyes of the skulls.
Yeah.
Oh, the lights from the eyes of the skulls.
Mm-hmm.
As I pour milk into my cereal bowl.
Just like those songs from the 80s. Where you're surrounded by all of your skulls and you're eating a nice, healthy, nutritious, and fibrous breakfast.
Yeah. Women show me their boobies. As I hawk those loogies. This is becoming a sea shanty.
Don't. I would never show my boobies to someone who was hawking a loogie. That's gross.
And everyone says that I'm on a roll.
You're doing a jig now.
I know.
You know those classic 80s hair metal songs that are jigs?
Classic. Anyway, those were extinguished. And the pale horseman raced by, and suddenly it was daylight again. And Baba Yaga went out and whistled, and the mortar appeared before her. She climbed in, took her pestle and broom, and drove away into the forest, sweeping her tracks away as she went. Off to go hunt down some children playing in the forest.
Yeah.
Vasilissa was alone, and she eyed Baba Yaga's house in amazement, wondering how rich was this lady? Apparently it's pretty good. Then she realized that with such a long to-do list and such high stakes, she couldn't decide what to start with. She was like, I could do this first. I could do this first. That over there looks dusty. She didn't ask me to do that. So I won't.
This is relatable.
Yeah, Vasilissa might have extreme ADHD.
Woo!
And she was already overwhelmed, and it wasn't even like 6 o'clock yet. She was just like, oh no. So she turned to ask the doll what she should do, and she found that all of the tasks were already done. The doll had even separated the wheat from the impurities in the corn bin.
God damn it. God absolutely damn it.
The doll climbed back into Vasilissa's pocket, telling her that the only thing she had to do now was make dinner. Then, quote, rest in peace.
Aw.
Foreshadowing from Baby Eats a Lot.
Baby eats a lot.
All you have to do is make dinner and then die.
I think it would be really funny if Baby Eats a Lot was like, hey, morning is wiser than evening, just to hang out. And then the morning Vasilissa's like, how am I going to do all this? And the doll's like, I don't know, maybe fucking start? Like,
oh no.
You only have the day? I've been doing all of your work for literally years. You're not going to ask me to do all of this too, right?
Hey, Baby Eats a Lot, this is a bad time to take a stand. The stakes are
Good luck,
literally
bitch.
life or death. Baby Eats a Lot has an attitude now. Okay. So
Baby Eats a Lot is in their terrible twos now.
Oh, Baby Eats a Lot. I just don't know what I'm going to do with her. Got an attitude all on her own. That evening, Baba Yaga came back and inspected everything as the Black Horseman rode by, bringing Night with him. And when she saw that everything was done, she was a little bit annoyed that she had nothing to be annoyed about. She's like, well, that sucks.
Relatable.
So she said, my true servants, my bosom friends, grind my wheat. At this, 3 pairs of hands appeared, took the wheat, and bore it out of sight.
Oh, like in Labyrinth.
Yeah.
I like that.
Sure. Then Baba Yaga sat down and ate her fill of the food and prepared to go to bed. But before she conked out, she'd told Vasilissa, "Same thing tomorrow." Yes.
But it's already all clean.
She's got the same list of tasks. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, you do.
I can't wait to figure out what happens at the end of this story. It's a good one. She said, quote, "In addition, remove the poppies from the corn bin and cleanse them from earth, seed by seed. You see, someone has maliciously mixed earth with them." And I just wrote Baba Yaga.
Rename the bin, Baba Yaga.
The wheat and poppy bin? It doesn't roll off the tongue like Corbin. That's my...
Just don't call it, if you're going to use it for multiple purposes, call it the multi-purpose bin.
It's the corn bin.
It's not the corn bin.
It's where I keep my wheat and poppies. The two things, and apparently dirt.
And dirt.
I love that she's like, someone has maliciously mixed dirt with them. Who would do that? But Baba Yaga.
Hilarious.
Then Baba Yaga threw herself back and began to snore. She falls asleep so fast. I'm very jealous.
I'm picturing, you know when dads fall asleep on the couch?
Yeah.
That's what I'm picturing for Baba Yaga.
100%. She's in a lazy boy.
Yeah, she's got her arms crossed and her chin on her chest and is just snoring gently. The TV's still on. And she's holding the remote, so you can't turn it off. It's like,
okay.
I guess I'll just go to bed then.
Watching infomercials. Vasilissa took a tiny bit of food and she gave it to the doll, and she asked her for her help again. And the doll was like, "Go to sleep. Morning is wiser than evening." She's like, "Maybe in the morning you'll be smart enough to do this on your own." She promised that all would be done in time. And the next morning, Baba Yaga left again in her mortar, and Vasilissa and the doll got to work. When the witch returned and saw that everything was done, she called out, "My faithful servants, my close friends, squeeze the oil from the poppies." Gotta get that opium, boy.
I don't think that's how you get oil.
They're making, but you squeeze them and you get opium oil.
You don't milk them. Like
You don't milk them because you're not 3 floating hands.
That's true. 6 floating hands.
3 pairs of hands. Yeah, you're right. Appeared and took the poppies away. I'll allow it, Max. Then she sat down to dine while Vasilissa stood by silently. And as she was eating, Baba Yaga looked up and was like, "What the fuck are you just standing there for? Say something, stupid." And Vasilissa was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're talking now." So Vasilissa, like, very timidly kind of stepped forward and she said, "Can I ask you a question?" And Baba Yaga said,
"Sounds like you just did. Do you want to ask me another one? Because you can't. That was your one."
"Wow, Baba Yaga fucking tricked me."
I love rude dad Baba Yaga.
Rude dad Baba Yaga.
I don't know, can you?
This is Papa Yaga.
Papa Yaga.
And he is
better
rude.
Ingredients, better pizza. Papa Yaga.
And it's just a picture of a pizza with like a human leg on it.
It's a pizza box, and the pizza box has chicken legs. And there's a little old lady.
I love it.
Sitting inside of the pizza box.
Oh my god, merch idea. Papa Yaga.
Papa Yaga.
What? Max, this is great.
Papa Yaga.
I need to draw this.
Please. Papa Yaga.
So she's like, "Can I ask you something?" And the witch said, "Ask, but remember, not every question leads to good. You will learn much. You will soon grow old." So Vasilissa asked, "Who is that pale horseman dressed in white on the white horse? Is he single? What's his deal?" And the witch was like, "Oh, that's my clear day." And Vasilissa was like, "What about the red horseman?" And Baba Yaga said, "That's my little red son." S-U-N. And she asked about the black horseman, and she said, "He is my dark knight. All 3 are my faithful servants." And at this, Vasilissa remembered the 3 pairs of hands, but said nothing. She's like, "Okay, so that's them."
Or she just has 6 friends. God forbid.
Baba Yaga? Max. Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga watched her for a moment and asked if she had any follow-up questions. And the girl shook her head and said, "Yes, but you said that I shall learn much as I grow older. And you also said, be careful. So I think I'm going to just not say anything now. I think I'm all asked out."
Aw,
by
What's
the
he
white,
like?
by the white.
Oh no.
Damn it. The witch nodded her approval and told her it was good that she had decided not to ask any more questions, especially questions about the inside of her house, because if she had asked too many questions and if she had inquired about what was going on inside, Baba Yaga probably would have eaten her.
Good to know.
Smart. Then Baba Yaga asked Vasilissa a question. How had she completed all these impossible tasks she had been given? Vasilissa said, quote, "My mother's blessing assisted me." And Baba Yaga jumped up and said, "Ew, gross." Quote, "Depart, favored daughter. I do not require people who have been blessed." And then she dragged Vasilissa outside. She took a skull with burning eyes down from the fence and she stuck it on a stick. And then she gave it to Vasilissa and she said, "Take this light to your stepsisters. They sent you here for it." And then she like pushed her out of the gate and she's like, "Get the fuck out of here."
I told you I don't want to talk about your mother.
That's so gross. Ugh, she was in my house. She touched all my shit. Ugh.
Papa Yaga is divorced from Vasilissa's mom, and it was not a clean breakup.
Oh, absolutely not. This is his divorce dad apartment.
He's got a Mustang parked out behind the birdhouse.
Yeah.
The house that is a bird.
The house that is a bird?
the Baba Yaga birdhouse.
It's good. Vasilissa ran off with the skull as her light source. When morning came, the skull's light went out. She reached her home and was about to throw the skull away, thinking it wouldn't relight itself, when she heard it speak. And it said, "Do not cast me aside, but carry me to your stepmother." There was no light in any of the windows, so Vasilissa took the skull inside. And when she went inside, she was surprised that her stepmother and her sisters all just immediately fell on her, and they were, like, caressing her and telling her what a good job she was doing. They're like, "We're so happy you're back." And she's like, "What the fuck?" Your look of skepticism is also her look of skepticism. Mm-hmm. But they were really happy to see her, because since she had left, they hadn't had any light in the house. They had tried to strike their own. They had tried to borrow from their neighbors. They had tried to, like, just bring fire in. Like, nothing would stay lit in the house. They were just in complete darkness every night since she had left. And then they said, "Perhaps your light will last." And they took the skull from her and they put it inside the house. But even though the skull was lighting in the house, its eyes followed the stepmother and stepsisters wherever they went. And they tried to hide themselves from its gaze, but it ceaselessly pursued them. And, quote, "Before dawn, they had been burnt to ashes." Yeah, same, girls.
It's interesting. It's kind of like an evil eye kind of thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Cursed. Only Vasilissa was left unharmed and unburnt. Mm-hmm. Like you.
Just because I didn't leave the house.
Yeah, what's that like?
It's fine.
Yeah. In the morning, Vasilissa buried the skull in the yard. She locked up her house and she went into town. There was an old woman who lived alone in town, and she was like, "Can I stay with you until my dad gets home? I'll help out around the house." And the old woman was like, "Okay." And so the two lived quietly. But one day, Vasilissa told the old woman that she was bored. Vasilissa's a bad house guest. She asked her to buy some of the best flax so she could busy herself with some spinning. So the woman did as she was asked, and Vasilissa spun the flax into thread so fine it looked like thin strands of hair. But when it was lying in heaps all spun, Vasilissa couldn't find a weaver's comb that suited it, and no one was able to make her one that was appropriate for this particular thread. So she decided to give the doll a little snack and ask her what she should do. And the doll was like, "Bring me an old comb that once belonged to a weaver, as well as an old shuttle and a horse's mane, and I'll make you one."
Oh.
Yeah. And in a single night, the doll made a, quote, "first-rate loom."
Oh, hey.
Yeah. By the time winter ended, Vasilissa had woven a linen so fine that it could be drawn to the eye of a needle. We're getting a lot of tropes in here. The eye of the needle is pretty good. In spring, the linen was bleached, and Vasilissa told the old woman to sell the linen and keep the money for herself. So, I guess payment.
Sure.
Seeing how fine it was, though, the old woman knew that no one could take it except for somebody from the royal family. So she traveled to the royal dwelling, and she walked up and down in front of the windows until the Tsar himself popped his head out and was like, "What you doing? Why are you walking outside my windows?
Can I help you?"
Hello? The old woman told him that she had something wonderful to show him, and when he saw the linen, he was so amazed by it that he told her he'd pay anything she asked. And the old woman was like, No, I don't want any money for it. It's a gift." And the Tsar was like, "Thank you." And he gave her some presents and sent her on her way. Seamstresses cut the linen up to make shirts for him, but no one could figure out how to properly sew them because this was like unlike anything they'd ever seen before. So eventually the Tsar summoned the old woman and asked her to do it. But the old woman was like, No, I'm not the one who made the fabric. I don't know how to sew it. The real hero is a beautiful, single young lady who's really good at everything she does and like works really hard and is also nice and sweet, and she's from a good family. So they're all burnt up now, but who knows? The Tsar was like, "Okay, can you ask her to sew them?" And the old woman was like, "Absolutely." So she ran home and she told Vasilissa all about it. And immediately Vasilissa got to work making a beautiful dozen shirts. Making a dozen beautiful shirts. English. The old woman delivered the shirts to the Tsar, and Vasilissa took the time that she was away to bathe, comb her hair, get dressed, and sit prettily in a window, as if this is how she always looks. And the Tsar was like, well, I have to meet whoever did this, because these are the best shirts I've ever seen. So the Tsar came to the old woman's house to meet this amazing seamstress, and he was so enchanted by her beauty that he asked her to be his wife. And the last line of the story is, quote, Vasilissa's father quickly returned to rejoice at his daughter's good fortune and to live with her. Vasilissa took the old woman into the palace and never separated from the little doll, which she kept in her pocket. The end.
Her dad should have come back sooner. She needed his help before.
Yeah. He also, the story does mention in the beginning that he realized that the stepmother hated his daughter.
Yeah.
And treated her badly.
This guy sucks.
Yes. Like all dads in these fairy tales, he let his kid down and everything that happened to her is because of his neglect.
Yeah. And then he came back once he heard that she had married the king or whatever.
Well, he was on business in another country.
Yeah, but if he heard the news and then came back because, like...
I don't think he heard the news and came back. I think he came back and saw what had happened and then moved into the palace with them. It doesn't seem to me like he was trying to profit off this. I think that he was a welcome surprise.
Well...
I want to know a couple things. Did no one investigate the disappearance of her stepmother and her stepsisters? Because it doesn't say that anybody knows that they all burned. Mm-hmm. All it says is they burned, she survived, she left the house, locked the door, and then went and lived with someone else.
Pretty suspicious.
That's a little suspicious. And then she also took the skull and she buried it in the yard to cover up the evidence. And now I want a follow-up story where somebody is digging and they come across a skull with burning eyes that's like, put me in your house.
Once again, this is yet another story in a long legacy of stories where Baba Yaga doesn't get anything. She doesn't get nothing.
She got her house cleaned, Max.
Yeah, but...
She got her house cleaned and dinner cooked.
I don't know. It's always just weird to me when she comes into a story and then, there wasn't like a second beat for that or anything. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just... for once I want a story where Baba Yaga has a nice day... And nobody fucks with her.
Nobody really fucked with her. Like, she didn't lose anything. I will say something. We talked last episode about the rule of threes. Mm-hmm. And this story has two things happen and Baba Yaga kicks her the fuck out of her house. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, this one goes against that immediately. Yeah. Immediately found one. There's a couple tropes. Obviously, this is another Cinderella tale, right? Yeah. Of a young girl losing her mother, getting a stepmother, two stepsisters, like all of that, and then being forced to work. That's all part of it.
Those of us in the higher echelons of folkloric understanding will also recognize this as the Ella Enchanted trope.
I knew you were going to bring up Ella Enchanted. I just knew it.
I was waiting.
She's always waiting for a moment to bring up Ella Enchanted. Yeah, so she was completely Ella Enchanted at the beginning. It also has some new lore that I really liked. I love the imagery of the horsemen. Mm-hmm. I think that was really cool. They don't come into play.
No, not at all.
It makes me wonder if there are if this exact story, if that Baba Yaga, because Baba Yaga is a class of witches, right? Yeah. It's just like a bunch of different witches. It makes me wonder if this Baba Yaga has several stories and this Vasilissa one is just one adventure. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of the Baba Yaga stories are about young girls going to get help from her and her testing them by giving them tasks to complete, And so it doesn't seem like she wants them to fail, but she gives them a bunch of tasks. And as long as they're obedient and demure and they can do housework, Baba Yaga's like, okay, then I'll give you some fire.
There are some, though, where it's like she tells them to do something that is impossible and she tells them how to do it. Like,
go to the bathhouse.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she gives them the instructions to do it, but also if they try to do it any other way, it's impossible. And also there's usually some kind of, like, twist or something in how they have to do it that is, like, literally in how she explained it, but wouldn't necessarily be intuitive. This one was just clean my house.
Do some domestic work. I will also say it's very gendered for her to have a magical little baby doll that she's there. There's something like mothering in you have to feed it,
Yeah, and also the baby doll never comes back.
No, she keeps it with her forever. Baby doll is the princess now. Baby eats a lot is the Tsarina. I don't know. There are a bunch of different ways that I could have seen this ending. So this is, I feel like we sometimes come across these stories where it's less of
a single narrative, and a lot of times it is a narrative that has a bunch of sort of tropes and recurrent themes that get like stuck onto it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there are other endings that could have made sense for the various little strings that they wove into this, but none of them necessarily come to fruition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is,
this felt like it wasn't as a substantial a fairy tale as I'm used to getting with Angela Carter.
yeah. There's some fairy tales that I feel like are more like patchworks of other stories. And a lot of times when we see these tropes of like silk so fine that it can pass through a gold ring or something like that, mm-hmm. or, you know, they have to do a riddle, or, you know, there's a bird, and I'm having a really hard time thinking
do a riddle, and also there's a bird, motherfucker.
Idiots.
Can I talk about Baba Yaga? I'm gonna read.
I suppose.
Can I talk about Baba Yaga for a minute as we're talking about Baba Yaga? This is Angela Carter's notes on Baba Yaga, which also, just a reminder, Angela Carter died while editing this book and compiling her notes, so a lot of the notes were finished by Shahrukh Hussain. But mm-hmm. these are the notes that she had. The tale contains powerful indicators that the Baba Yaga's origins are probably in the mother goddess of various mythologies. She refers to the morning, day, and night as her own, and her mortar and pestle are reminiscent of corn and wheat grinding. In addition, she possesses fire, a basic element. And there's a more obscure tale that tells that she stole the fire, and that's why she has it. So there's a mythology behind Baba Yaga fucking stealing fire for herself.
Hell yeah.
She is stern and harsh in her judgment, but just and not devoid of ethics, which we talked about as well with she gives them tasks. They might be impossible, but she has a code. She's like, I'm going to eat you if you can't do this, but also if you can do it, I'm going to help you. You know? Yeah. The remaining riddle is that of the invisible pair of hands. It is clear that the hag is alluding to the secrecy of women's mysteries when she expresses approval that Vasilissa has stopped short of asking her the question that would force her to reveal what is inside her house. So Vasilissa, this is another thing I forgot. Vasilissa asks her, who are those horsemen? And she gets the answer of like, that's the day, the night, and the sun rising. And she thinks to herself, okay, this also matches up with the hands of being your servants, but she doesn't ask that question. And Baba Yaga's like, I'm glad that you didn't ask about what was inside my house, which is a direct reference to the hands. Vasilissa just puts it together on her own, and then she doesn't follow up on it, mm-hmm. which is a weird detail to have in a fairy tale of being like, I could ask questions.
Seems like none of my business.
Yeah. Her aversion to blessings may well represent the fear of a pagan goddess being driven out by Christianity. So there's just like a lot of details. She just really goes into, this is like the longest explanation in the book, in the back, like in her sources, it's usually like, this is where I got it from, here's a sentence about what I thought, and this one she's like, here's 3 pages about Baba Yaga being a fucking mother goddess deity that is older than time. She stole fire and she controls the sun.
I love her so much.
Yeah.
Both of them. I love both of them.
This is a really cool take on Baba Yaga, whereas we cover a lot of fairy tales, and I feel like this is pretty good. Okay. Whoa, that was longer than I thought it was. Do you want to go to bed? If I go to bed, do you want to take a break?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Guys, we'll be right back. Goodbye.
Okay, Janey.
Okay, Max.
Janey, okay. I got a story for you today. It's called A Pot of Gold in the Oven.
That's a bougie baby announcement. I don't got a bun in the oven. I've got a pot of gold.
I fucked a leprechaun.
Or you were fucked by a leprechaun.
This story is from The Turnip Princess and Other Newly Discovered Fairy Tales by Franz Xaver von Schoenwert, translated by Maria Tatar of The Heroine with a Thousand Faces.
Which is fantastic, and everybody should read it.
Yes. We have talked a little bit about the Franz Xaver von Schoenwert stories before. These were fairy tales that were lost for a really long time, and then they were found in like 2015 maybe. This massive collection of fairy tales that has since been published. They're interesting stories. A lot of them are variations on Grimm stories. Some of them come from like before, I think. I'm not sure of the timeline actually, but a lot of these stories come from Bavaria in Germany. And that's all I have to say about that.
The land of the sausage.
And the pretzel.
And the pretzels. I'm sure some beer.
Mustard?
No.
That's where we draw the line?
I will not abide.
Shit, all right. Okay. And this is kind of a little shorty baby cutie one, but it's a weird one, so I wanted to give it some space.
That is really good. Also, guys, forgot to say, this is a late night episode.
Yeah, they knew.
I don't know if you could tell, but it's 11:45 right now.
What? There was a soldier. Mm. He was in the war.
Oh, no.
You know.
Yeah.
The war.
That war. I mean, this story's from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
This could be a lot of wars.
There's a lot of wars in this movie.
There's a big one we could think about.
The war ends, and he retires.
Mm-hmm.
And he has, made enough money for himself that he's able to say, you know what, I'm not going to get a job. I'm just going to go be retired. How did he get this money? Well, because he was a soldier and he gets paid commission, obviously. And also because of all of the looting and pillaging and stuff that he did.
Oh, yeah. You think he's a bad guy?
I mean,
we don't like him. Good to know.
Listen, an opportunity presents itself when you're in someone's house murdering them and they have nice stuff.
Yeah.
Are you just going to leave it there?
Absolutely not.
Why?
You're going to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may not even kill them. I might just take their stuff. Personally, I might not spend my energy on killing them. I might just steal their shit.
Janey's a burglar.
Yeah, but not a murderer. That's important to me, that you know the difference.
Mm-hmm. So he retires. He goes back home to his hometown. Mm-hmm. And he finds that it really is true. You never can go home again. Things are different now.
Got a lot of blood on his hands.
Things are different now. He doesn't know anyone anymore. And, he shows up and nobody's like, how are you? What's new? Nobody gives a shit about him.
Okay.
Because they're all dead.
Oh,
from
no.
the war.
And from other people burglarizing their house.
Yeah, all of them are dead because of the war. But also, if they gave a shit, then maybe, he would feel a little bit more welcome.
Okay.
And, all of their houses have been destroyed, basically. So there's only, a couple of houses still standing in the village. Mm-hmm. And they actually, the lord of the area, his castle has been completely demolished. Mm-hmm. And he's like, this fucking sucks. I finally retire, and my stupid fucking village is in the ground. Oh no, this man is terrible. A lot of this is in the way I'm telling this, but this story presents a lot of things in a really weird way, which is reacting to that is why I'm telling the story like this. Yeah. The story says he retires. He was a very strong, very fast warrior. Mm-hmm. And he has a purse full of gold from pillaging and looting. Yeah. And from being a soldier. He goes home and it's different than he remembers because everyone's dead. It's
and they stretched out their arms and died.
So his entire village has been leveled effectively. But he has his little leather purse full of coins, and as long as he has some money left over there, there's a line where it says that while he was in the army, he did a very good job of stashing a little bit of money away in his leather purse for later. Mm-hmm. It says that he fed the little purse. He fed it like a proper little hamster.
His baby eats a lot.
What?
He fed it. He fed
the purse and like a hamster.
Yeah. And she fed her doll.
Like a hamster.
And I'm sure it ate like a hamster. Listen, this is themes.
I don't know. It's just such a weird...
This is my wallet eats a lot.
Which he had fed like a proper little hamster.
Stuart Little.
Not a hamster. Hamster is such a weird thing to do. That's a weird first animal to think of that you feed as a pet. Anyways, so as long as he has a little bit of money in his little leather purse, he's always going to be fine. He's well enough off. He finds himself a wife. They settle down together in the ruins of the castle. There's a little area that used to be the kitchen, and it has the oven and the stove and everything. Mm-hmm. And the whole castle has been destroyed. But they make this little space, and he erects a little roof, and they have a tiny little house inside of the ruins of the castle.
Okay, but also, does part of you genuinely like the idea of starting a new one, a completely demolished space, just finding a place and making a house out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something really intriguing about that.
I could be down for a little nest. I'm
making
super
a nest,
here for it.
Rebuilding a place. I don't know.
The thing about this that's weird to me is that there are still houses. Most of the people are gone, mm-hmm. but there are a couple of houses But he also basically builds a house in the ruins, and I'm like, why wouldn't you just
go to the one because he wanted a castle? That shows his personality.
Guess, but also, like, why wouldn't you just build a house?
You really have to get rid of the morality of knowing why the houses are abandoned, but just in general, like, having a video game cutscene where you're just, like, getting to build a house out of the ruins of a castle. I think that's cool.
Yeah. I don't know. And also, he doesn't try and, like, fix the rest of the castle. He just has his little hut.
I think it shows what kind of person he is, that he chose to move his new wife, into ruins of a castle instead of finding a better space for them. Yeah, and then he doesn't try to improve anything.
The story definitely
hates him.
Tries to communicate the fact that he is lazy. That is one of the traits that the story gives him.
Okay.
So he settles down in the castle ruins near the old stone oven that was in the former kitchen. He erects a roof, and they have their little hut in the ruins. A little while passes, and his wife starts nagging him.
Oh, that
women to go get a job. And it's like, he had a job.
Yeah, but he doesn't anymore, and now he's married.
Yeah. And he's like, I had a job, I was a soldier, and now I'm not anymore, and I'm retired, so...
You're not getting a pension.
Yeah. And she says, well, I'm tired of being called the soldier's wife, so you have to get a job.
Fuck.
Which, on the one hand, I'm like...
That's not the...
Fuck. But also, I'm like... Is that really the problem that you have?
That can't be the reason.
I guess, but like...
Isn't it that you don't have any money? And you live in the ruins of an old castle?
Yeah.
Also, who's calling you the soldier's wife? Are there other people here?
I assume that they interact with other people sometimes.
Lady.
It doesn't really go into it, but it's like, she's like, I'm tired of being called the soldier's wife, so you have to go get a job. It's like, all right, sure. Okay. He tells her that he is not interested in working. Just not for him.
Me neither, man.
It harshes his vibe.
Yeah, that's really annoying.
Honestly.
Same.
There's a line that says, he preferred to nap on his bed of straw near the hearth instead of having a job.
Like Hans the Hedgehog.
Yeah, he's like, why would I get a job when I can take a little nap? And honestly, he's right. I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, no, in this instance...
He's the bad guy in the story, but when I think about it in, like, real life...
These vibes are, in fact, not that off.
No. Yeah, in a story, this is a red flag, but in real life, I'm like...
Yeah.
I get it.
Take a break.
I want to not have a job and just take a nap instead.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Same.
Anyways, so he has his little straw mat that he sleeps on. It's right next to the hearth, this oven in the former kitchen. As he's falling asleep in his little cot, he always lays facing the wall, which also I'm like, God, this marriage is maybe not good. He lies facing the wall, and to put himself to sleep, there's this like pattern kind of in one of the bricks that looks a little bit like a face.
Oh, periodolia.
Periodolia, yeah.
Yeah.
One of us was right about that, and I don't know which one.
It's one of us. Probably you.
He sees this, like, face in the bricks, and to put himself to sleep, he makes faces at the face. He's like, bah.
What? How does that put you to sleep?
I don't know.
All tuckered out from teasing the face in the bricks.
And as he starts to, like, fall asleep, he almost imagines that the face is making faces back at him. And that's just how he falls asleep. This is his whole life.
This guy's fucking weird.
He's really weird. He's into weird stuff. Eventually, you know, he doesn't have a job. I'm not sure whether his wife has a job, but eventually they run out of money, as happens when you don't have a job. So eventually his little leather coin purse is empty, and
his hamster starved.
His hamster starved to death.
Oh my God.
And then he trades his hamster, the coin purse, for a loaf of bread because it has no more value for him.
Yeah.
Because there's no more money in it.
Yeah. Wow.
So he trades the purse itself for a loaf of bread.
Just like a real hamster.
Just like a real hamster.
They're worthless if you haven't eaten all my money.
Yep. And he and his wife are now very, very poor. They have nothing.
Yeah. Except for a loaf of bread.
Yeah. And she has a hobby, and her hobby is nagging him all the time about get a job, and we need money or we'll starve.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, he had a job earlier. Is he supposed to just keep having a job?
Yeah.
Forever?
Maybe. Not great. I agree with him that it shouldn't be forever.
I agree with him that it shouldn't be forever. but she is starving. They are both starving. She nags him, and then every day before she goes to leave, I think that she has a job.
Okay.
I think. Because she leaves every day.
Okay.
And then comes back in the evening.
Hopefully she's getting laid.
Oh, God, hopefully.
Yeah.
But every morning she nags him, and then on her way out, she bangs on the stove and is like, this kitchen's gonna stay cold.
Yeah.
Because I'm not fucking cooking for you.
Good for you.
And then she leaves.
She's on a work strike.
Yeah.
A household work strike.
Yeah.
She's probably going to her actual job at the
Hopefully.
Starbucks.
Hopefully. And then every day he is left alone in the cold, cold kitchen with the echoing sounds of the stove banging and the nagging in his ears. But that's fine. He just likes to hang out and take naps.
Wow.
So it doesn't really bother him. But he does notice that when she bangs on the stove, he looks at his little friend, the face. And it almost looks like the face grimaces in pain when she whacks the stove.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty weird.
Yeah.
Just something that he notices.
It's not great.
And he's like, wonder what that's about. But that's none of his business.
Okay. He's too concerned with this face.
One day, his wife doesn't come home when he's expecting her to. And it gets later and later, and she's still not home. And he's like, well, it sounds like we got ourselves a fucking boys' night.
Me and the face in the wall.
So he's like, well, since my wife is gone, the boys will play.
Uh-oh.
And he decides that this is the time that he's going to figure out what the fuck is up with the face in the wall. And he goes over to the face in the wall, which is right next to the stove, and he starts pulling the bricks that make up the stove out of the wall.
This reminds me of Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
A lot of this is reminding me of Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah. This is a weirdly gothic story. We'll talk about it later.
Really quickly. We were playing trivia at the Olive Garden. They have a little computer set up where you could play trivia. My dad and I were really trying hard, and they had an Edgar Allan Poe question, and it was, how old was Edgar Allan Poe when his mom died? And it was less than 3, 9 years old, 14, or 28. Do you remember?
9?
I also said 9. The answer is less than 3. The problem is, we said 9 because we're mixing it up with H.P. Lovecraft.
Oof.
And I was so mad.
Damn.
Yeah, anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Damn.
I really let the whole team down with that.
Ugh. I got a crossword, and it was what was it? It was the method of murder in Edgar Allan Poe's The Cask of Amontillado. And the answer was entombed.
Entombed.
Yeah.
It's good.
Pretty fucking good. I was pretty happy with myself for getting it. Not to brag. I'm getting really good at the crossword. It's just me and the face in the wall and the New York Times crossword.
Okay, sorry. He's digging up the face in the wall.
So he starts pulling bricks out of the oven.
Yeah.
And
an abortion.
Jesus. Fuck.
Wait, I don't want this little leprechaun anymore.
I think that might be a oh god, what is it called? Hysterectomy.
Oh, sad.
Not necessarily.
Unless it's by choice, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess we have complicated feelings about these metaphors.
Yeah. A lot of these metaphors are complicated.
Yeah.
But he starts unbricking the oven to see what the fuck the deal is with this face. He's like, is there a body behind here that is, and that's why it hurts when my wife bangs on the stove?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's witchcraft or something. Mm-hmm. So he starts to take apart the stove. And as he's doing so, he looks over at the face in the wall, and it looks as though the face is stretching and wiggling, and they describe it as a bunny in clover, where it's finally able to stretch out, and it looks comfortable and happy and excited. And
the
everything.
Story loves little animals.
Yeah, little creatures.
Yeah.
That's what the story's all about.
Yeah.
So this face in the wall stretches like a bunny in clover, and as he continues to unbrick the oven, this blue smoke starts to pour out of the spaces that he opens.
Noxious gas.
I know, right?
Uh-oh.
Blue smoke starts to come out of the stove, and as he gets further and further in, light begins to shine through, and it shines as brightly as a lantern into the room. It's dark outside now, but this room is now being lit from within the stove, which is not on. but it's like from behind the bricks. There's this light coming through and this blue smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And he's watching this face in the sort of dim light, and it looks like it's dancing, and like it looks like it's experiencing freedom, and it's like cackling and happy and everything.
Wow.
And he looks at all of these strange things that are happening in his little house, and he says, well, I know what's going on here. There's a treasure.
Okay.
There's a treasure, and the man in the wall is protecting it, and he's showing me where it is. So I just got to keep going.
He's doing a bad job of protecting it if he's showing you where it is.
I know. I also have problems with that, where it's like, it's kind of one or the other. Is he showing you where it is, or is he protecting it from being found?
Mm-hmm.
Gotta be one or the other. Unless he was protecting it from being found by anybody who he didn't like.
Who hasn't played with him every night.
He's like, you can only have my secret treasure.
He's like, my favorite show is those silly faces you make every night.
I think you deserve a treat.
I'm such a big fan of
you.
yours.
You have been a good boy.
You have the range, honestly, the emotional range you have.
So the soldier thinks to himself, I know exactly what's going on. There's a treasure. I'm going to get it. This little man is my friend, and he wants me to have the treasure.
Yeah.
Which, the evidence...
It's starting to sound a little bit like he is slowly being, like, poisoned.
Yeah, it's carbon monoxide.
Carbon
monoxide.
Like, yeah, it's not great. He's like, I get it. The little man in the field. He's stretching in the clover, and he wants me to be rich.
And then I'll be a bunny. And then I'll eat a hamster. And then I'll be money.
It's the circle of life.
Buddy, I think you might be experiencing smoke inhalation.
You gotta leave the castle.
So he takes apart the stove more and more, and finally at the very back of the bricks of the stove, he finds a hollow, and in the hollow there is a copper pot, larger than a helmet. So like a small cauldron, like a pasta pot.
Bigger than a bread box.
Smaller than a bread box, bigger than a helmet.
Bread boxes... You're thinking about your bread box. It is pretty big. Okay, go ahead.
I got not to brag, guys, but I got a big old bread box.
Again, another metaphor we're not sure how to feel about.
Listen, it's got 2 levels, and there's a secret compartment for a knife.
That's what that's for.
Yeah, it's for a bread knife.
Could not figure out what that possibly could be for. Okay.
That's my secret little cooter pocket for my knife.
Don't say cooter pocket.
That's where I keep my knife.
Oh, God.
This metaphor is getting confusing.
We're done. Just run to the ground. P.S. The person who emailed me to tell me that my content was being stolen also said that she wants a blood room channel to know about your cuts and bruises.
Yes, battle scars.
You got one.
Hell yeah. He finds a copper pot, larger than a man's helmet, and it is filled to the brim with gold coins.
I'm annoyed that this worked out
I
for
know,
him.
right?
I really didn't want this to be
I was
the
really
case.
mad about this, honestly.
Not cool, man.
So he finds this copper pot, and it's full of gold coins. Now, he's no fool. He's been around the block a couple times.
I disagree with the first statement.
He's done a lot of looting and pillaging in his life, and he knows just because it's been bricked up behind a wall, it doesn't mean it doesn't also have a curse on it.
Naturally.
So,
and there's all that blue smoke and the magical dancing brick man.
seems like cursed behavior to me.
I don't know. This doesn't seem like my normal robbing a house and killing the occupants.
Well, the implication of this is that it says because he's done a lot of looting and pillaging, he knows to expect curses on things. And I'm like, so how many cursed things has this man stolen?
I don't know, talk to his wife.
Wherever she is. I
Yeah,
hope she's
where's
okay.
that lady? She never came home.
But in his many travels, seeing exotic lands, meeting exciting people and killing them,
Yeah.
he's learned a little something about how to dispel a curse. He takes his hand, he waves it over the pot, and he says, "The cock crows and the spell breaks. I'll speak my piece, whatever it takes. First I'll saddle the dragon full of gold. Then I'll spit at the devil till he's out cold. And that's his little incantation.
Okay.
So the cock crows and the spell breaks.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard this before. The idea of, like, the cock crow at sunrise causes evil spells to be broken.
I mean, this is also you're wiser in the morning than you are at night. Yeah. Like, just wait until it's daylight.
Yeah. I'll speak my piece, whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm. I'm taking this gold. It's
so
mine.
He's like, all you sucker MCs, sit down and listen up. Right?
Yeah.
First, I'll saddle the dragon of gold.
Okay.
The what?
He's gonna saddle the dragon of gold, Max.
The what?
The dragon of gold.
Now, is this a gold dragon or is this a dragon that has gold? Does he think that this is the dragon's gold? Or is he just saying the dragon is the metaphor of wealth?
Now, you're trying to really dive deep into the meaning behind the man who crawled into the wall because a dancing brick man led him to gold with blue smoke.
Then I'll spit at the devil till he's out cold.
Now, that's the hardest part of this rhyme. That's hard as fuck. He and Lil Widow need to team up.
But...
Oh, you sucker MC!
He's gonna spit at him.
Yeah.
Until the devil is knocked out.
Yeah, he is.
What?
You ever seen, like, I feel like in the old, like, Popeye cartoons, they would have, like, he would
like
spit.
A spittoon?
Yeah, he would spit and it would be, like really hard. Yeah, he's doing that. Or he's like, I'm highly infectious.
The only way that I could think of to rationalize this is I was like, he's not going to be able to spit at the devil with enough force to knock someone out, right? But at the end of whatever he does with his spit, the devil is unconscious.
Mm.
So I think he puts the devil in a tank.
He drowns him
in spit.
Or
hear
me out. He spits on him, gets him all wet, and then the devil freezes.
Oh.
Out cold.
Out cold.
Yeah, okay.
Or maybe he just spits really hard into the devil's mouth and the devil chokes to death.
Aspirates.
I just feel like I want to know more about the mechanics of how he spits at the devil till he's out cold.
Max wants to know more about spitting in the devil's mouth.
I would like to learn a thing or two.
I don't know, I just feel like I wouldn't say no.
So, this is his incantation. A wild ride from start to finish. Also doesn't say anything. I mean, the first line, the cock crows and the spell breaks, makes sense.
Yes,
breaking a curse. The rest of it, just fucking riffing. He's feeling it.
Yeah.
Right?
No, he's just any rhyme can break a curse.
Sure. So he waves his hand over the coins. He says the magic words.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you suck at MCs.
Don't know nothing about me.
And this, like, light is still pouring out. The smoke is still pouring out. And he reaches for the cauldron, and then he hears a voice behind him. The voice of his wife, outside by the front door. And she is screaming, panicked. And she says, turn around, turn around.
Oh, no.
And he's like, what? And he turns around and he runs to the door and he opens the door.
Yeah.
And there is nothing there.
What?
And he's like, what? That's what he says.
Oh my God.
And then he's like, well, that was weird. Time to get back to my looting in my own home. And he goes back to the fireplace.
Yeah.
And as he's walking back towards the fireplace, I'm just going to read this because it's deeply fucking weird.
Okay.
He hears sounds behind him. He turns back around, walks towards the fireplace. Strange beaks began poking their way out of the rock and crowing and screeching.
Okay.
Like bird beaks.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. Beaks.
Beaks.
Yeah.
Beaks.
Yeah.
Strange beaks began poking their way out of the rocks and crowing and screeching.
Okay.
So from the rubble of this oven that he's dismantled, just like bird beaks?
Or Vanderbeeks.
No. I was very clear that it was bird beaks.
Okay. All right, fine.
They just appear out of the rubble and start, like, screeching and calling, and he hears this cacophony of bird sounds.
Yeah.
And it's just the beaks, no birds.
That's weird.
And he gets to the oven, and he sees that the hole where the pot was is now empty. The pot is gone. And he looks over to the man in the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and the man in the wall is also gone.
Burglarized.
He got burgled, and he never sees them again.
What about his
The
wife? I'm sorry, his wife wasn't outside?
No.
Honestly, that was the scariest part of the story.
Mhm.
Was I genuinely got chills at the turn around, and the panicked thing, and then opening the door and she's not there.
Mhm.
The idea of hearing somebody's voice and that not being them is one of the scariest, I think, most nightmarish things that I think most humans,
Yeah.
for some reason, collectively fear.
Yes.
And it makes you wonder, just like so many people have nightmares like that. There are so many scary movies like that.
Yeah.
Like, we as a humanity, we don't like the idea that something could imitate our loved ones. And there's so many monster mythologies. There's so many bad things that happen that center around the idea of somebody's, like, your loved one's voices luring you outside.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes you wonder why.
It just makes you wonder.
Did
why.
the cavemen deal with something we don't know about and sew it into our DNA?
I mean,
I
in
didn't
a lot
like
of ways,
that part of the story. That really freaked me out.
yeah, in a lot of ways, yes, though. Like, there are animals in the wild who will imitate the sound of a baby crying in order to get people out into the woods. Like, that's just
Foxes,
real.
when they mate, sound like babies crying.
Yeah, but they're not trying to attack people. But there are, like...
They're not, but it's very eerie to hear.
Yeah, there are, like... I think it's, like, tigers or something like that can make a sound that sounds like someone screaming. I know mountain lions can do it. And I've heard it, and it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Because it really sounds like someone being murdered.
Yeah.
Anyways, so, it would make sense living in the wild that there would be things that you would hear outside, and there would have to be a story to explain, like, I know that sounds like someone in pain, and it's not, and you can't go out because it's dangerous, and here's why.
Ugh, so scary, so scary.
Very
I didn't
scary.
like that. It does seem like the man in the wall was tricking him, though, just to, like, leave so that he can grab the gold and run.
I think so.
Like, he released the man in the wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
This story is so fucking weird.
It is weird. It's like a fever dream.
Yeah. It feels very gothic to me.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe, H.P. Lovecraft, the yellow wallpaper also. Yeah. It's just so fucking weird. And I was having a really hard time, like, grasping what the story is about. And I don't think that I have a perfect idea of what it's about. But there's so much weird iconography that I'm like, it's just
Yeah, I really like it. There's a lot of symbolism in it.
Yeah, it's very weird. So I was doing some research. There's no version of this text online for free, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I was trying to see if anyone had, like, written about it or anything. And no, there's only one person who has written about this story. And it is a psychologist.
Oh.
And they wrote about it in a blog post about fairy tale therapy.
Oh.
Which they explain. I have it linked in the show notes, but the idea is that, especially when someone has been through, or, like, when someone's having a hard time, like, distancing themselves from an understanding of, like, social dynamics or something like that, if you externalize it and put it in the context of a story with a narrative, it makes it easier to see the patterns and how they. So it's kind of it's interesting. It's a way of using fairy tales and allegories to talk about difficult things without actually talking about difficult things.
Yeah,
I think is very.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't know from a psychological perspective, like, how it stacks up, but
I mean, it really goes hand in hand with, like, art therapy, music therapy. It makes sense that there's also writing therapy and also storytelling, like being able to contextualize things separate from yourself.
Yeah, and I think it also goes back to the root of, like, what storytelling is.
Yeah.
Is all of these stories are, I mean, every story in a way is kind of allegorical of saying, like, this happened to someone. How does this relate to you? How does this change your understanding of the world, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the author, Your Dance of Polychrome, I don't know anything about them whatsoever, but they do a summary of the story. They have a clip they have the last, like, page of the story in the article itself. And their conclusion is, this is a fairy tale about a man who has lost the ability to hear self and inner needs. It is a tale of a person who faced some unimaginable horror in real life and could not restore life because he, she, they continued to use all the same ways of interacting with self and the world, again filling the stove with ashes instead of firewood. They explain a lot of where this comes from, and a lot of it is symbolism that I don't necessarily agree
It doesn't
can be assumed.
Yeah.
But they talk about, like, the fireplace is, like, a place. It's like a life-giving place.
Well, it's also all they had. They built up their home out of rubble, and the only thing that was standing, the reason why they went there, was because of that stove, and he completely destroyed it while his wife was out.
But also, it seems like they don't use it.
She seems like she finally took a stand and said, we're not using this anymore.
Yeah.
I have no idea. To me, it seems like just, if anything, I don't know if I agree with what that person said, but if anything, what I would say is if you wanted to, like, get crazy and start diagnosing things, he does sound like he's probably super depressed. You know, like, it does seem like somebody who doesn't know how to start their life again. I also think that there is a lot to say about the fact that he could have moved anywhere and he chose to go to a castle, just like
ruins of a castle destroyed in the war that he just came back from.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, you didn't have to go there. That's super weird. And you didn't try to fix it at all. You just kind of, like, laid down next to a stove and then also dragged somebody with you, and that's annoying. That's annoying because you dragged somebody who is otherwise it sounds kind of helpless to do much for herself, and now she's just stuck with you while you're doing that. That's not great. Yeah, I don't know. That was super strange. All of this stuff is, like, very trippy. It makes me wonder how much opium oil he was chugging.
Yeah, a lot of the Von Chainvert stories are... A lot of them are those kind of patchwork stories where it's just a bunch of tropes, like, layered on top of each other. But then there's some deeply, like, the ones that are truly original that I'm like, I haven't seen this before in a story.
Yeah.
Are so fucking weird.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
And this is one of them. And I'm going
to be thinking more about it. I am really fucking freaked out about his wife's voice coming from outside the door. That really upset me. I wasn't expecting to suddenly be horrified.
Yeah. A lot of the research that I was coming up with when I was trying to figure out, like, you know, there isn't really any conversation about this story because, again, this is from a collection of stories that was lost for a really long time, now is published, but also isn't published for free anywhere. So it's not as much in the sort of common understanding as the actual, like, the Grimm Brothers stories or anything like that. It's not as accessible.
Yeah.
But
also it could be because this is definitely out of copyright.
I mean, it should be, but I think I think Penguin purchased the rights to publication of the stories or something like that.
They should be allowed to do that.
I don't know. I could do some more research, but I would think that that's what it is because, again, it's not on any of the websites that we usually find those free texts of old stories.
It could just be because they're so recent. Like, Gutenberg Press
it's not that
doesn't
recent,
really have...
It's been like 10 years.
But, like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. But trying to find this story is really hard because anytime you Google, again, the story is called A Pot of Gold in the Oven. And if you try and Google that, you get a lot of stories about leprechauns.
Yeah.
But this, to me, I can definitely see reading it as, like, a leprechaun story of, like, you know, oh, there's a hidden treasure and you have to, like...
And there is a man who is guarding it.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff. This, to me, though, the iconography is more closely aligned with stories about Jinn.
Okay. Like the blue smoke.
The blue smoke, and also the man who is trapped in there.
Doesn't it seem like his spell to release the curse is what released that guy in the wall?
Yeah. And then the guy in the wall made the sound of his wife outside so that he could get away with the gold. Which is also what happens in the film Leprechaun.
Oh my god, it's all connected.
It's all connected.
The fact that what he had the wife saying was, oh my god, turn around, is so upsetting.
Yeah.
That's so scary.
Yeah.
I hated that.
Yeah. The story is so fucking weird, though. Like, there's this little man who's imprisoned in the, like, why? Was he in the castle?
And why was he so obsessed with it?
I don't know. Anyways.
That was weird and very well told.
Thank you. Oh my god.
Okay, so guys, I'm going to put pictures of the books. There's not really... I mean, mine has some little block print illustrations, and Max's cover is very cute, so I'll put some pictures up on the Instagram. If you want to talk to us about this episode or these stories, then go ahead and reach out on Discord or through our email, sortofthestory@gmail.com. If you want to join our Patreon, listen to some bonus episodes, you can absolutely do that by following the links in our bio. And... you know, I bragged about being able to do this, and now I've completely lost the ability to do it. Rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts. We finally made it to 100 reviews. I would love to make it to 1,000 by next week, so just go ahead. The new goal is 10,000 reviews by the end of the year. Just leave us a little line over there, and I usually share them on our Instagram and our stories because I think they're very sweet and I like reading them. And yeah, just all of our links are down in the show notes. You know what it is? It's 12:21 right now. I am so tired.
Sorry, buddy.
So I do think it's time for us to go to sleep. You guys, we love you. Thank you for hanging out with us for yet another week. And we will see you in 2 weeks with another set of tales. Okay. Bye. Oh, so gentle. Like a hamster.
Janie.
Yeah.
I learned today, because I had to Google before I said something to you and Eli to make sure I wasn't making things up. Did you know that sand dollars, I always thought that their mouth was their butthole, but their mouth functions like a butthole.
Yeah.
Like kind of like a garbage disposal where they just chomp on stuff. And then their butthole is on the opposite side, on their back, right in the middle.
Is it the same hole?
No.
Oh.
But, so it's not like a cloaca or anything like that. Like, it's not like it goes in and comes out of the same place.
Yeah.
But they are like right next. They're like a quarter of an inch apart.
Quarter of an inch on a sand dollar is a lot.
Well, yeah, like the mouth is on the bottom and then the butthole is on the top in the middle.
The butthole's on the top.
The butthole's on the top.
You know, I saw that hole.
Yeah.
I don't impress.
You know?
It didn't impress me much.
Here's something else I learned about sand dollars' butthole mouths.
Yeah.
The way that their butthole mouths work is that they have a bunch of little teeth in there.
Yeah.
And they just, whenever they eat something, they just kind of like rub their teeth around on it until it breaks down. And it can take them up to 15 minutes to take a bite. Because they had to chew it so much.
I kept making my nephews in the ocean this week. I was like, no, you put your fingers down and you're just going too quickly. And then I would scoop one up and bring one up. And Jackson was like, how are you doing this? He's like, there's so many. And I was like, it's really easy. You just put your hand down. He's like, yeah. And he was like, and scoop it up. And I'd bring up like a second one. And he's like, how are you finding them? Because then he was like, I'll do it with my feet. And he was like shuffling his feet on the ground. And he's like, I just can't feel anything down there. I was like, use your hand, watch. And then I scooped up like two more, like one in each hand. And he's like, how are you doing it? And then he wouldn't hold it because their little feet creeped him out. But he allowed me to pile them up on his boogie board. So it's just me and Jackson, my 13-year-old nephew, in the ocean, and me just like piling up more and more fucking sand dollars while he tried desperately to keep the waves from washing them away.
That sounds really fun.
It was really fun. We kept calling to Jameson. We're like, Jameson, come here. And I would like hold up like 6 sand dollars. And Jameson was sitting just like right, where the ocean meets the shore.
Sure.
Yeah, shore.
The beach.
He was like sitting right there. So the waves were like kind of going up there, but he was just like digging a deeper and deeper hole next to himself. And every time we'd be like, Jameson, look what we have. And Jackson would like hold up a boogie board full of sand dollars. And Jameson would look at us and go, not interested in that.
I love the little sand dollar feet. My personal beach favorite.
I do too.
Creature is the little sand fleas. I love them. They're so weird. I'm not good at being an adult at the beach.
I got bit by a couple of sand fleas. I'm very itchy.
No, not those. Those are
okay.
Those are sand gnats.
Okay.
Sand fleas are the little like
they look like cockroaches,
isopods, kind of. They don't look like cockroaches.
Okay, well listen, I saw a bunch of them recently.
They kind of look like the like cicada pods a little bit.
Oh.
They're like little and gray, and they kind of look like a bug, like a beetle, maybe, but they're like
a cockroach,
humped up.
Cockroaches look like beetles,
but different.
Not that different, I can tell you from experience.
But they dig into the sand.
Yeah.
And so I'll just sit in the sand and stick my hands in, and I can feel them moving in the sand, and then I'll scoop them up out of the earth. And they're so funny because as soon as you pick them up, they try and dig. So they try and like dig into your hand, but they're too small and they can't. So it just tickles.
This is me and Max at the beach picking up all the critters. I kept picking up hermit crabs and like their spirally shells. We had really good hermit crabs this time too, and like the spirally long shells with like the yeah. And I kept picking them up and being like, Jameson, here's a shell. Hermit crabs. And he's like, Janey, and Jameson is a no bullshit kind of kid. he was like, if I gave it to Jackson, he would fling it across the ocean. But Jameson would be like, there's a crab in this, Janey.
This is irresponsible.
Janey, you're picking up somebody's home.
Is this funny to you?
It was. I thought it was good. I had a lot of fun with my nephews for the last 2 days.
I love it. Yeah, I do feel like there are a couple of different categories of people when it comes to the beach. There are some people who like go and they're like on the beach and they have their chair and they're reading and they're suntanning and everything. Or they're like listening to music and they're being very cool and adult.
Me. That's me on the beach.
That's not me on a beach. I am such a child at the beach. I'm like chasing crabs on all fours. And like,
also me.
Yeah.
We did that this week. There was a bunch of little crabs.
Yeah.
Listen, I like to have the full spectrum of activities at the beach.
Yeah, I'm like in the surf and I am screaming at Poseidon to come kill me.
No, not
and
me.
I am battling the waves.
Not me.
I'm like trying to see if I can make my foot look like a shark fin to scare my family. I am such a child. I don't like the beach that much, but the only thing that makes it fun is
playing at the beach.
Beach games.
I love the beach.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I grew up half on the beach, kind of like a mermaid.
Yeah.
Half a mermaid. I'm like the top half of a mermaid.
Bottom half girl.
That's me. Catch me at a beach near you.